Scotty, give me that power. Green on. Ahead, walk back to 2. Go to yellow alert. Scotty, give me that power. Scotty, get us out of here. Green on. Go to yellow alert. Red alert. Fire. Scotty, get us out of here. It's the main junction circuitry. I'll get it.
Most illogical.
Captain, what do we do? Maintain surveillance, Mr. Sulu. This jury rigging won't last for long.
Fascinating.
These are very sensitive instruments. I don't even know if she can be repaired. Maintain surveillance, Mr. Sulu. Maintain surveillance, Mr. Sulu.
A clock.
I don't even know if she can be repaired.
Coffee in that
It's
nebula.
the main junction circuitry. I'll get it.
Fascinating.
I am fully functional.
Scotty, give me that power.
And I'm gonna be high.
Ahead, warp factor 2.
My
Green on.
What have I done?
Go to yellow alert.
Oath of celibacy is on record, Captain.
Red alert.
God bones. What have I done?
Poop pee.
Fire.
Is it part of a Romulan plot? A
Got it.
ploy
Give me
to
that
start a
power.
war?
Maintain surveillance, Mr. Sulu. Got it. Give me that power.
Because I think the climber wants to hug the mountain, envelop that mountain, to make love to the mountain.
Fascinating.
Scotty, get us out of here.
You just
Captain, what do we do?
We'll have this all fixed up in time for supper.
This jury rigging won't last for long. Go to yellow alert. Red alert.
There's nothing wrong with me. Maybe there's something in the universe.
Fire.
A poop question, sir?
Ahead, warp factor 2.
It's a fake.
No, you can't. Don't even try.
Smooth as an android's bottom, eh, Data?
I beg your pardon, sir? You betrayed your uniform!
Maintain surveillance, Mr. Sulu.
Klaxon Ries Blaj Blanar Nick Karnik.
These are very sensitive instruments. It's the main junction circuitry. I'll get it.
Hello, computer.
Fascinating.
Yes.
You will have nothing!
Accept my honor.
Go to yellow alert. Ahead, warp factor 2.
Pepperoni! God, I'd love a pepperoni pizza with Bavarian olives right now. I'm starving!
Oh, yes. Hello everybody. Welcome to the Butter Zone, and I'm here on my lonesome today. Our first Butter show. Well, okay, so formerly this was the Chilled Out Trek show, which, you know, after massive lobbying by Auto and Stars to get this renamed to the Butters, the whole channel to be renamed to the Butter Zone instead of Trek Time, I said no. But let's call the Chilled Out Trek show the Butter Zone. So I made a fancy new intro, well, very basic intro. I did some piano, nice fancy piano for it, and yeah, this is now the Butter Zone. So instead of Chilled Out Trek, we're here, and yeah, for our first Butter Zone, we thought to do a people had other commitments, unfortunately, tonight. I think Big is in the family way, and I say in the family way, he's not pregnant, but I mean he's currently tied up with various members of his clan. Stars has gone to see Avatar 2 because he promised his mother, and and Auto's away this weekend. So I thought, well, I don't often get to talk to myself and talk to you guys on my own, so I thought, why not? Let's do this. Let's talk a bit of Trek. Let's talk all sorts of other things. Just to tell you as well, at the moment, the Trek Talks, which is another name we consider. Trek Talks show is currently happening on Twitch Live at the moment, which I'll link to you afterwards, having some interviews with lots of Trek cast and things like that. So go watch that in a bit. I promise I won't be too long here, and you can go see that. And donate some money for a very good cause, which I have forgotten what the cause is, but it is a very good one because they are all good causes. We shall have a look in a minute. But yes, how is everyone tonight? How is everyone on the stream? If you're watching this on YouTube later, how are you in comments? Please respond. I want to know about your days. I want to know about your people on YouTube. I don't hear much from the YouTube comments. Get the occasional one or two people chime in, but please feel free to chime in. We're always happy to talk to you. But yeah, how is everyone? I am having a day. I've literally just finished having dinner with my mother, so I'm now full of beef, very, very full of beef, and telling her for the first time, after doing this stream for 2.5 years, I'm saying like, yeah, I do streams now, and like telling her for the first time, I was like, oh, right, no, that's cool. You know, the very kind of motherly, there, I don't know what that is, but that's very nice. And that kind of thing. And she brought in, because I'm doing dry-January, she'd bring round some 0% Peronis for 0%, sorry, advertising, 0% beers. No, I don't care. This is not a popular enough stream to do that. 0% beers to drink from. So yes, how is everyone? I have just finished. Well, I say just finished. It was about a week ago, but I finally concluded Star Trek Prodigy, and I'm not going to spoil you tonight on that. But if you are sleeping on Star Trek Prodigy, go and watch it. You might think, oh no, it's a kids show. It is. It absolutely is. It's the kind of Nickelodeon kids show in the same way that the early Star Wars, the Clone Wars was. You know, you can watch it with a bit of a, half a mind on it, or you think, that'd be perfect to watch for my children. Absolutely it is. But fantastically, it's really faithful to Trek. It's got some really good plot lines. Like they go through the tropes. There's a holodeck episode, there's going down an away team episode, but there is actually a set of continuity that runs through it as well. And a huge story that culminates in the end one, and the end episode absolutely fantastically fairly next. So yeah, I'll get to the event in a minute. What's first? The rest isn't available in the Netherlands yet. Oh, that's such a shame, because the second half is really excellent. I mean, the first half was pretty good, but I think it really excels in the second half. Yeah, the title sequence is so good. I think it's probably one of my favourite theme songs. We'll do that in a minute as well. But yeah, no, Michael Gia, I never say his name right. Giacchino, is that right? His theme song is absolutely fantastic. Prodigy of, it's just an excellent show, and how they wrap up the whole season, a lot more Janeway than I was expecting, because when they first announced the series, I remember seeing like, oh, Kate Mulgrew's coming back, and I thought, this might be one or two cameos. No, every episode there's a whole plot line around her, and yeah, it's brilliant. New episodes. Yeah, the new episodes are really good. Like, in early Prodigy, Dal is not a fun character because he's a bit adolescent, he's a bit annoying, he's a bit of a dick, but he does grow. And by the end of the final episode, I'm just like, yeah, go Dal. I really like Dal now, and I like the journey he's had as a character. I like the journey that Gwyn's had in Rock Talk and Jankum Park. It's just fantastic. Like, you got a real... when you watch something, you're at that finale, and the awesome thing happens, and you get that shiver down your spine. I kind of got that. I got goosebumps. And this is a kids show, but it goes to show that whether it's a kids show or not, if you're a diehard Trek fan, you should watch this. Like, it's really good. Yeah, no, Dal gets a lot better. He's still there is a fun I'm not going to spoil this, other than I'm going to say, oh, do I want? There is a really good Dal and Janeway episode, which is probably my favourite of the season, which absolutely showcases Kate Mulgrew's acting for anything as well, and you can tell they've had a lot of fun making this. And you get a Jellicoe cameo as well. Jellicoe has like 2 appearances, and it's brilliant because you can just hear him all over again. He's an admiral now, Admiral Jellicoe. Yeah, no, absolutely adored Prodigy. Like, it's leapt up there as one of my favourite Trek series, like favourite modern Trek series. See how it does over time, but yeah, definitely like a labour of love. I think of all of the new series, we've got Strange New Worlds, we've got Lower Decks, Discovery, Prodigy. Picard's the iffy one there. I think we can all agree that Picard is misstepping, and hopefully season 3, which is coming out soon, won't be a misstep. Here's hoping. We'll get onto that in a minute. Going back to the Timelines event, although Timelines Talks is returning this week on Wednesday, so we will talk about this event. But yes, fairly lax skirmish phase for you, Evans. No, I like that. I went hard this skirmish because I was pre-farming for the Galaxy side of things. I think I've got 3 million VP already, and I'm pushing. But yeah, sorry, just scrolling through chat here. First half project, yeah. So yeah, since you guys are chatting, Picard season 3 is coming very soon, and we will probably talk more about this on the Trek show on February the 1st. So come join us for that one, where we'll talk about all Star Trek news and things like that. And Nightmare Account's moving along well. Who doesn't love a Nightmare Account? Yeah, we'll talk about Picard. We'll talk more about the sort of Picard with Stars and Shy on February the 1st. But yeah, I'd like to sort of gauge your guys' opinions on what you think it's like, because season 1 was okay. It was all right. Very rushed end. Plotline was a bit. You could tell they were writing it as they went along, and they did. I think one of the producers at the time even said, "Yeah, we hadn't got an ending figured out." I think it was Akiva Goldsman that said that. It was either Akiva Goldsman or Terry Matalas, maybe one of them, because I don't think Terry Matalas was on that then, and I definitely don't think it was the producer at the time, the director at the time. I forget whose name now. Anyway, so they were literally finishing Picard season 1. Really good, yeah. And as Shai just said, I really enjoyed season 1. Picard, the first 2 or 3 episodes of season 2 were really promising. Then it fell off a cliff. I think, yeah, there were some very cool moments in season 2. Like, I remember being like a lot of people, I was hyped for the first half. So, like, that first episode, the Stargazer, like, going on to Captain Rios's ship and seeing, like, the new ship, which was gorgeous. The USS, I'm a Starship porn fanatic. Like, the USS Stargazer is absolutely stunning. Like, I love that ship. I think it's a good homage to the original Stargazer with a modern design philosophy. Like, it's really nice. And just seeing the uniforms were cool. Okay, they've had like 16 uniforms in 2 seasons, but how can you can't really fight against that. Like, that's just design philosophy these days. Look at Discovery, they've got like uniforms coming out their ears for every kind of species. That's a costume department with a lot of budget, and lovingly so. But yes, the whole Stargazer episode, seeing the fleet, seeing the Borg ship coming out of the rift, and having all that little bit of intrigue, was all great. I love that. And episode 2, when they're going back in time and you're going to the coalition parts, and the interactions with the Q there were really good. I was really hyped for the season then. And even when they sort of did the heist with the Borg Queen, that was great. And seeing my favourite moment of Picard season 2, like, I will top this, is like, I'll say, well, actually one of my favourite moments in Trek comes from probably one of my least liked seasons, which, as it does, was when the Borg Queen takes over the La Sirena, or the Coalition La Sirena, and you get the first contact, bam, 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 as she rises up and her tendrils go and assimilate the ship. So good. I really, really liked that. That was absolutely stunning. But I think, yeah, after that, when they were then in 2024, and you kind of met young Guinan, obviously, Picard season 2 spoilers right now, if you haven't been made aware. If you haven't seen it already, well, that's kind of now your problem. But you're not missing a huge lot. But yeah, no, the kind of whole 2024 plot, the reason Tallinn looked like Laris was never really explained, other than like, it's her descendant. And then she goes, oh, look, I've got Romulan ears. Like, it was a bit And sorry, I'm and a lot here. This is what happens when I have to talk by myself. Yeah, Jerry Ryan was definitely a little bit more Seven. I liked her being the human in a human, or the Borg in a human's world, and especially Raffi and Seven is a great pairing. I think the interactions with them in the 2024 were great, because Raffi could be the counterpoint to Seven, where she's sort of kicking ass and not taking names, and Raffi's like, you can't do that here. They've got laws and shit. You can't be the Borg being human being Borg again, and that was quite cool. I think the whole Jurati Borg Queen plot was good. I like the visions in the head. The whole and I forgot her name because me and names are terrible. But the Borg Queen's actress who was in 24 season 7. Oh my god, Annie Wershing was absolutely fantastic. Like, her and Jurati really had a good thing, but they kind of wasted that plot line. And now knowing what we know that it doesn't go anywhere. That's not returning for season 3 is such a waste, because I think there's such a good potential with a new Borg alliance and things like that. It's it's such a shame. And the resolution with Picard and Q was okay. I thought it was a bit jarring to go from like episode 2, where Q is really pissed at Picard, and he's doing, you kind of get the idea that Q is being the villain at this point, and still doing a trial, but he's doing his own test on Picard the whole way, because he considers him a good friend, and Q is dying. That all seemed a bit mushy. There didn't seem to be any coherence regarding that storyline. I would have liked maybe a bit more elaboration into Q's illness, or Q's apparent, why is he dying? Why is he going off? You downloaded Twitch on my phone just for me. Thank you, Boota. I very appreciated you did that. Put it on your telly. But yes, no, that whole thing was always a bit confused. I did like the backstory into Picard, being English immigrants over to France, considering themselves French, and the storyline with his mother was something that I liked. I know that was quite controversial. I did like the impact with it, but I thought the culmination of traveling back in time to 2024, combined with the Q, I forget the word for it now, sort of Q's diminishing powers, combined with Picard's own history of saving his descendant and dealing with the Borg in another time, and the Borg, it all just seemed to be a bit of a mush at the end. Nothing really kind of came together. There was some, like, who was it that said it? I think it was, Shy said it. Yeah, there were cool moments. There were very cool moments. We didn't need to know details, but it would be nice to have a consequence, or maybe I think one of the things I liked from season 1 was, and I know our good friend Otto doesn't like this scene, but I really liked the scene with Data and Picard at the end of Picard. Like, made me well up a little bit. That final conversation, it was the conversation they needed to have at the end of Nemesis, didn't they? But they didn't get, and this was kind of the thing. There needed to be something like that with Q and Picard. They needed to be maybe like a flash of white, and like could be like the scene from Tapestry where they're in heaven, and like maybe Q's a bit more frail, and then they have a conversation, which is something we like from the Next Generation. We like from the character Picard to have a 10-minute sequence where we're having things not explained, but people having a conversation, and that conversation is very riveting. Have you ever watched a film that is mostly two people talking, and you realise like an hour and a half's gone, and there's only been 3 scenes in this film, but they've just been talking the entire way, and you are hooked on every word they are saying. 12 Angry Men is a classic for that. You watch the original 1956, I think 1950s version of 12 Angry Men. It's one room. It's one room, 12 people, and it's riveting. And it's not that long. It's about an hour and 10 minutes, but it's literally conversation the whole way through. And I was hooked the whole way. I never thought I'm not for watching classic black and white films. I tend not to. I probably should watch more. But this was one I decided to pick up one day, and I thought it was absolutely amazing. The Amy Schumer version of 12 Angry Men is good. That'd be interesting. But yeah, that's what I mean. That's what Picard needed at the end of season 2, was a scene with 2 people talking on, and it doesn't need to be like massive exposition. It doesn't need to be like, I'm saying this and then you're saying this and this is why this is happening. But it can be an honest, earnest conversation. Another scene comes to mind of All Good Things, Picard and Q, where Q is leading them through the trap. Similar kind of thing. This is kind of All Good Things again. Q is leading them through a different time zone to work out the clues, to try and put the pieces together. And that's kind of what I felt like this was lacking, was that final, Picard standing over the gloop and working out that the time anomaly is traveling backwards. It was missing a little bit of that, a little bit of exposition through conversation, showing and not telling, a little bit of that. And I think kind of everything else was bolted onto the wayside there, and it was such a shame. Yeah, and Rios as well. Rios suddenly just kind of went like, I'm going to stay here. I'm like, why? You just met this woman. Like, okay, it's a classic trope, in a film where you've got an hour and a half to tell a story. Yeah, the two people are going to fall in love and they're going to change their lives forever. Absolutely fine. And it feels believable. But in this, that kind of didn't. He kind of got a bit of a crush and then said, you know what? I was captain. I was pretty much a reprobate with my own tradership, and I was in a rough and ready way until Picard kind of pulled me out of the darkness of my own self-exile after after my captain killed himself. And or did the android kill the captain? No, I think he killed himself. I can't remember now anyway. But yeah, and then Rios comes out and says, now I'm a starship captain. Be like, awesome. And he's a good starship captain. It seems awesome. Everyone was going, give me the Rios Stargazer series. Thank you. And then he just goes, nope, I'm going to stay in the past, and kind of fuck the timeline up. But I would have stayed in the past for Sol Rodriguez too. Well, we are only human. I mean, yeah, but definitely not doubting his taste. Well, sorry, I'm just come back through chat here. Evan says, same issue with many characters. The writers have to use an actor, but have no idea how to write them, so shoehorn them into a completely different character. JDL wasn't playing Q for most of it. I would say he was playing Q, but he was playing an older, for some reason, bitter Q. I couldn't quite work out why he was so pissed off, unless that was part of the test. That's what kind of confused me about the whole thing, because honestly, you've got too many villains in this series, because we've got the Borg Queen, who essentially is a villain. We've got Q, who is being presented as a villain. You've also got Adam Soon, who's a villain for some reason, just to get Brent Spiner in there, who has made an android that looks exactly like Dahl. Again, another reason. I'm not against reusing actors for posts. I mean, God knows Star Trek has done it a long, long time. But this does seem very blatant to go, well, the actors signed to the series, we've got to use them somehow. And I think I've kind of labelled everything I didn't like Picard season 2. But I think the crux of my point was, now we're coming on to season 3. And season 3 is kind of looking, a clone or a hologram, people are saying. Oh, yeah, I like that. He left one of his holograms to die as a missionary. Fantastic. Yeah, so I remember going, reading through the interviews of season 1 and season 2, or mostly season 1, when they said, Picard's come back, Patrick Stewart's coming back, but we're not going to make TNG. And I was like, yeah, okay, fine, that makes sense. We've had 7 seasons of TNG. We don't need that nostalgia. And, well, you do. Because everyone watched Nepenthe from season 1, undeniably the best episode of Star Trek Picard. And went, yeah, we want more of that. We want Riker to just come and give us a big warm hug, because I felt like this is the first time I felt like I'm at home with this series for ages. In case of emergency, break TNG. Absolutely. So, yeah, this looks like bringing the whole cast back. We want that. Everyone wants to know what Worf's doing. That's the thing. If you're going to do a series that stars legacy characters in the future, you want to know what's happening to them. You got to stream through Discord when so we jump in. Sorry, I'm reading Discord. Sorry, I'm reading 2 different conversations here. What was I saying? Yes. You want to know what's going on with them, like Beverly Crusher. What's the history there? The problem is, it's now been like 20 years. Unless someone's going to sit down and give us another bit of exposition, big bit of exposition. It's a hard one, It's hard to sort of believe that what they're doing. Worf is a pacifist now. Like, what's happened there? Where's Alexander? Are we going to be cheating on Twitch with Discord? Yes, I am. Sorry, I've got too many windows up and things are catching my eye as I'm trying to string together coherent sentences, and that's always difficult when you've had a non-alcoholic beer. And I'm erming again. I've just been listening through my old Star Trek adventures because we're bringing back Death Before Dishonor, that's coming back later this month, and I realised as I was talking, and I laughed too much. something you've got to do. I hate listening to myself, it's terrible, but you find all the faults with all the conversations. I would like to catch up with Alexander just to find out what he's doing. I don't need a cameo. I just maybe one line to go, oh yes, he is now the Klingon ambassador, or he's quite happy on his fishing lake in Minsk, or whatever, you know. He's taking over the grandparents' business of judging children. Kumtar was pretty good. Yeah, well, James Sloyan. Of course Kumtar was very good. There's the late great Drake. Actually, has he died? Well, it's James Sloyan. See, someone check up on James Sloyan for me. I don't know if he's still around. Will Worf be wearing the OG? He will. This is not new Discovery Klingon. He is original Worf. And I mentioned, someone mentioned, I saw in a comment the other day, you see Worf's ears in the picture. He's got his hair tied back, and you actually see his ears. And someone commented like, is this the first time we've seen Worf's ears? And I'm like, no, surely we must have seen his ears at some point. This can't be like, it's the great anomaly of time is Worf's ears. See, this is why I need stars on. He'll know when he sees, he even know the exact shape of Worf's ears, definitely. And what was I going to say? Yeah, so yeah, we've now got Picard Season 3, which is the great TNG reunion with some great new threat, which worries me. I'm kind of getting into Darkness vibes from this a little bit, because you've got the two ships fighting, the new Neo Constitution and Christopher Plummer's daughter coming through, who I didn't realise was Honey Bunny from Pulp Fiction, which was a shock to me. I was just like, yeah, I think it was Big that told me that a few weeks back. I was like, oh yeah. Original Klingon, his makeup and his goatee and blackface. Yeah, you're not wrong. I don't think they can do that this time, unfortunately. But yeah, and so yeah, we've got, you know, Picard. Season 3 worries me that it's going to be how tonally inconsistent Season 2 was with Season 1. How tonally inconsistent 3 is going to be with 2. I would have loved to. Fake Plumber fan. Yes, I'm not. This isn't Plumber talks or Plumber time. This is Trek time. Although I am a fan, I do love Chang. Chang is one of my favorite characters. But yeah, no. This is going to be tonally inconsistent to a lot of the rest of the series. Like, this isn't one cohesive season, and that really it's a real shame, because it was always was presented. This is going to be a 3-season arc. And it definitely feels like they did Season 1 and went, we'll hope to make more, and then just completely went off the left field. It is a shame we're not seeing Jurati again. It is a shame we're not seeing Rios again, because it feels it's such a waste to build up these legacy characters to not use them. Raffi's coming in, but I think if Seven wasn't coming back for Season 3, then probably Raffi wouldn't either, because they're kind of the pair now, and that's a bit of a shame. So I am cautiously optimistic. I'd love it to be good, because I love that cast to death. Like, who doesn't? Oh yeah, Elnor isn't coming back either. Thank you, Killop. That one I'm not bothered about. I don't really like Elnor, so that's no. I know some people do, so shame on them. But I'm quite happy to never see Elnor again. He was a bit of he was a wasted character, which was such a shame. He could have been, no discredit to Evan Goria. I forget his surname. It was Yvonne, something like that. No discredit. He played the character as well as he was written. But sadly, it is not going to happen. Yes, I too am waiting for Enterprise Season 5. Do you know what? Thank you, Boota. I would love if they went and did an animated Enterprise Season 5 in probably the same style as Prodigy. I'd probably quite happy with that, because all the cast are there. They're already waiting. They would do it. Maybe Jolly and Blalock probably wouldn't, but he only dies in the past. He could be Steve Rogering across the timeline. I don't like that phrase, Steve Rogering all across time. That implies something completely different, Shire. Oh dear. So yeah, Picard Season 3 is gonna be interesting. Same style as Taz could be good. Yeah, Ronaldo. Same style as Taz could be very good. Actually, you've seen those Taz remakes of Voyager, and The Next Generation on YouTube. If you haven't, go watch them. Go watch. I forget the production company that makes them. And they're like 5-minute shorts, and they are absolutely fantastic. Like, really faithful to the Taz animation style, but done with Voyager and The Next Generation. Is great, very worth a watch. I really hope, I would love them to make whole episodes in that style, and I would be very disappointed if Paramount haven't reached out to go, do you want to do something for us? Maybe do an Enterprise or something like that, and have Scott Bakula come back and everyone like that. Again, we harp on about it a lot, but if you haven't watched Shuttle Pod 1, definitely go watch Shuttlepod 1 with Connor Trenier and Dominic Keating, talking about the old Enterprise episodes with old cast. And I've actually not watched any of the new season yet. They've got people like Denise Crosby and Walt Koenig on. Absolutely fantastic. Not the Walt Koenig, the one from our community, but the real Walt Koenig. Yeah, they've got him on, which is absolutely fantastic. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. I am cautious. I mean, obviously, we're going to watch it and judge it to hell as it comes out, but they started up again. Yes, they did start up again. Yeah, it's very recent. I think they're about 3 or 4 episodes in. It's very, very, yeah, I need to catch up with them when I get some time. Time is like the fire in which we burn. Or time is the fire in which we burn. So yeah, stay in the channel. We got some exciting things coming up for 2023. I'm very hyped about. A lot of planning on my part. I've got some things to do, but I'm actually, unlike, I think when we got to the end of last year, I was feeling very stressed because doing the award show, all the animations, getting them all done in time is quite a stressful time for me, and getting everything sort of sorted. And we were still trying to work out what we were calling what we were rebranding the channel to. And sorting everything out there and what kind of structure it was going to take and what kind of things we were going to do, because obviously we made the decision to move away from timelines as much, not completely. We're still doing timelines talks coming Wednesday, but just not as frequently, and turning more into a regular Trek channel, of which there are many, but we will be another, and we will be hopefully very good at it. So yeah, just talking about what we're going to be doing, kind of the ethos. I want to be entertaining. I wanted this because there are plenty of I mean, there are hundreds of them. There are hundreds of Star Trek podcasts out there. There are plenty of them that just talk about Star Trek. There are plenty of them that talk about various themes. There are loads and loads and loads that just do watch throughs of the episodes and review them and keep up with new current episodes and review them. And that's kind of not what I wanted to do. I know we are, because we're doing the Star Trek Trek, but we're kind of doing that because we want to, and it's really enjoyable for us to talk about it. More for us to talk, because I think one of the things we're really enjoying about Star Trek Trek is doing, because we always do it in this order. We'll watch through the episode together, we'll take a 5-minute break, and then we'll sit and review it and do our sort of little half-hour review of the episode we just watched, which is a whole lot of fun. It's great riffing on the episodes, and especially I think it was The Naked Now. I'd never laughed so much through in a run through, because it was just wall to wall bananas, and we really enjoyed doing that. And I hope that comes through on some of the watch throughs and the Star Trek Treks in the reviews. And I think that's something we're going to continue. Although, like I said, it is something that everyone else does. Everyone else has their own review show. I kind of hope we're doing it in a different enough way. We're doing the episodes in order, but skipping between series. So we're going for like TNG to DS9 to Voyagers, episode 1, and then through to episode 3. So we're coming to do it in a different way, and it helps our morale doing it, because we're bouncing about. We're not sticking to one series and getting bored of it, and then moving on to another one, and getting bored of that. And it keeps things light and entertaining for ourselves as well, going, oh, what are we watching this week? Oh, we're watching Taz, fantastic. Or what are we doing this week? Oh, we're going back to the original series, awesome. So yeah, that's really fun. That's really fun for us to do. And we can, the other thing as well with that is we can kind of schedule out on our own time. Like, we're not streaming those, so we're just recording them. So it gives me a bit of a break. Like, I don't have to stress about editing, and releasing on a 2-weekly schedule as well is great, because I don't need to stress about how quick I've got to edit this together and rush it out. I can just drop it into my little template, do the export, and now I've got things like that sorted out and get it set up and run. So at the end of last year, I was kind of getting a bit stressed out with, sorting out the award show, which was quite a lot of work. It really, and just kind of getting things organised with that, because I was doing the daily votes, and then I was waiting for the votes to be collated so I could make up the animations, and then we're waiting for our votes and waiting for WRG to come back to us, because they had their votes as well, and so I had to edit all those right at the last, pretty much day before or 2 days before. Meanwhile, I'm getting ideas from other people saying, what if we did this? I'm like, yeah, what if we did? No, you don't have time. You don't have time to do this. I want to do it, but I don't have time. There's literally it's tomorrow. And then you change with the Trek chat to Trek time, so I had to redo all the branding, so I had to redo all the animation, all the intros, all the channel icons, all the links, and I'm still finding things I've missed, like the pre-roll. I've got to redo the pre-roll. I want to redo layouts as well and things like that. So there was quite a lot of stress, but now we're kind of on this side on January. I said, I'll take January a bit easy, and I've just filled up January with things to do because I can't help myself. Although this time I'm not as stressed. I'm more keen and organised to do it, and I want to do it. I love doing this. This is kind of like one thing I adore doing. I love talking to people I barely know, but it's great because you guys are brilliant, and we've met up with some of you, and I can't wait to wait up with more of you. Which, by the way, we're organising our next meetup in Birmingham, I think in August, because there's apparently an actual Star Trek convention happening, which we're going to go to. Which I'm going to go to, certainly. I know a few others from last year are going to go too. So, yeah, come and join us for that. But you know, this is great. I love streaming. I love talking about Trek. I love talking about Trek with my good friends, Stars, Auto, Shine Big, and everyone else that comes and joins us, like Racing and Sky and everyone. And this is going to be my ethos going forwards. It's like, we'll just do fun things, because I think we got a bit of a drag, and we felt when we got to timelines and we were talking about the game and getting really about it, we were just feeling every week, oh, what crap, we got to complain about this week, oh dear, these crew, never mind. And it kind of got a bit of a drag, but we found we're having more fun to talk about Star Trek, so we'll talk about Star Trek. So let's do that. Play the game, Wesley. Yeah, play it. And yeah, Trek Time Plays Games as well. Which was another intro I had to redo because I realised it was called Timelines Talk. Timelines Talks Plays Games. Had to change to Trek Time Plays Games. Luckily, the acronym still stays the same, so it's still TT Plays Games, thank God. We've just finished Elite Force as well, which I really enjoyed. I really, really like Elite Force. It is such a good Star Trek game if you've never played it. The story is essentially, if you've ever played Mass Effect, it's the same as that, but obviously it came first. It's a great first-person shooter, which I know isn't really, you know, you do kill a lot of things in that game, which isn't really Star Trek, but you can kind of go, well, this was the 90s, and also that's this kind of game, and they justify it by being like, oh, these are just mindless creatures, you're not killing innocent civilians until you are. Until Neelix enters the mess hall. But it's a good deep game. It's good fun. It doesn't look too bad. Like, considering it's made in 1999 and it's on an old engine, like, it has lovingly recreated Voyager down to, like, every fine detail. Like, you've got the engineering as a complete replica of the bridge. I don't know if the shuttle bay is actually... Do we ever see Voyager's shuttle bay? We must do. On the show? I need to rewatch Voyager. I really do. It's a great game. You know, I really enjoyed Elite Force, and I'm actually really looking forward to doing Elite Force 2, which we'll probably do sooner rather than later. Well, I think we'll do Elite Force 2 sooner than we'll do Armada 2, definitely, which I know Auto somewhere out there going, no, we should do Armada 2 first. We've got lots of games to play. So one of the next few games we're going to be doing, I think Elite Force 2 was a vote. We'll do another vote on game soon, but the next one I've kind of vetoed because I really want to play it. And I'm going to show, if I do, hang on, I've got a thing for this. We go over here. Ding, hello. Let's have a wee looky loo at what I want to play next, which let's go on to, let's watch the trailer for it because this could be a lot of fun. This is Star Trek Hidden Evil. I'll see if I can find the trailer. Because here we go, Hidden Evil trailer. This is going to be the sequel to Star Trek Insurrection. Won't do a full walkthrough, but let's just Oh, at the time it was only called Star Trek Insurrection. Wow. Yeah, that looks... Oh, I got a comment. Wait, someone likes my reply. Is there a better trailer? There's the opening, which we'll see at the time. No, I think that's the only trailer. Yeah, we'll be... I'm going to be... Hang on, I need to find the right button. There we go. Whee! There I am. Yeah, Hidden Evil looks to be a lot of fun. Well, no, it looks terrible for a start. I mean, it's a game sequel to... it's the sequel to Star Trek Insurrection. Like, why would it be? Spoiler alert, the Hidden Evil is people who liked Insurrection. I like like Insurrection. I think it's a great TNG two-parter. I actually generally enjoy it. It's not a great TNG movie, but it's a great TNG two-parter. And it's good fun. It's comedic. It makes no sense. It's got F. Murray Abraham. Like, why wouldn't you like it? Let me see if I can find some. Let me get to the GOG page and kind of get a bit more. We'll have a look a bit more in game, because this is going to be the one we're going to be playing next. Gotta stop erming. Stop erm. I need to, like, give something to charity every time I erm. Let me pop back over here, because we're having fun. So this is Star Trek Hidden Evil. I have bought it. It would be in my account. So this is prepare to engage the hidden evil plunged into the wake of the events following Star Trek Rights Reserved Insurrection trademark. You find yourself embroiled in an enemy plot to harness the incredibly destructive powers of the coveted genetic seed. You must engage alien forces and outwit your adversaries in a series of challenging missions, or else the Federation will fall victim to its ruthless arch-enemy. Who would its ruthless arch-enemy be in this context? Explore a mysterious ancient Star Trek civilization lushly recreated in immense 3D rendering environments. Take on foes. That's what I was thinking, Romulans. Take on foes with deadly weapons such as phasers, and for the first time ever, the Vulcan nerve pinch. Like, really? Is that a first time in a video game? Like, is that what they're trying to say there? It's like Benedict Cumberbatch's American accent. You know, like Doctor Strange. Yeah, he talks a bit. Well, he used to be able to do it quite good. I'm Stephen Strange. No, I can't do it anymore. Anyway, follow orders from Captain Picard using your tricorder and communicator to gather helpful facts. Mission-based action welcomes players of all ability levels in an adventure of stealth and combat. So this is all over the place, which is why I want to play it. Like, this is done by Presto Studios and Activision, and the graphics look. I mean, this is all pre. I could do a second American accent. Yes, I could do two. I'm not going to do them now. We're not playing that game now. This is pretty much your FMV rendered backgrounds with, excuse me, with 3D characters walking across. I am just intrigued by what they're going to do with the Baku civilization, that it requires a sequel. Like, this definitely feels like this was someone's lost screenplay for a sequel to Insurrection that they never got picked up. I definitely think that is the case here. November the 1st, 1999. Wow, excuse me a second. Wet the old whistle there. Yeah, this is what we're doing next on Trek Talk Plays Games. Trek Time Plays Games. We're definitely doing that one. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I want to play some of the bad games, because what you have to have the good with the bad. I think that's definitely happening. So that's kind of, we kind of carry on the Trek show. The start, the Timelines talk starting. Is Donna Murphy stalking Picard, shouting, "You said you had 300 days of leave." Guess what? He lied. I think it was who has three. That's the one thing about Insurrection. Who has 358 days of shore leave? Like, did no one think that's a lot? Or is this not like an Earth day? Is this like a Baku day, which takes about 2 seconds to go around? It's like, this'll sound impressive, but I've got 7 days of shore leave coming up, or 358 Baku days. They're not really immortal and 300 years old. They've just got a really quick solar cycle. What was I going to say? Completely forgotten. We're going on all sorts of tangents tonight. This is what happens when I run loose with the microphone, with no one to interject me and no one to interrupt me. Federation Utopia. Rollover days last forever. Oh yeah, can you imagine? Yeah, but can you think about the amount of overtime that Picard does? I don't think he ever stops. I think in all of TNG we see him do some Dixon Hill, and then that's about it. He stops on one occasion to play his Ressigan flute in a Jeffries tube, and that is not a euphemism. Although it probably ended up being a euphemism with Nella Darren. But he has got to have a lot of overtime. 7 years of solid service on the Enterprise D. He goes to Risa, but he's still working with the Toxuthat and Vash. Although actually any encounter with Vash is probably shore leave, so yeah. But yeah, he must have accrued a shitload of overtime. He's probably never taken a holiday. Like, I doubt he's been away from the ship for an extended period of time, other than when he takes Wesley to Starfleet Academy, and Wesley proclaims that with women, I've got no problem. Yeah, he's owed. He could probably, and mind you, saying that, between the Enterprise, what do you think Picard did between when the Enterprise D was destroyed and the E was built? I'm sure there's probably a book on it that I've not read yet. But yeah, definitely. Yeah. So yeah. So anyway, other things we're doing on the channel. We will be. I'm gonna go over to the events page. Let's go over to here. So if you didn't know already, our wonderful Discord, isn't it wonderful? Look how fantastic. Lots of chat, lots of things happening. Anyway, up at the top here, we have the events page, and I've lovingly created every icon. So, yeah, Butter Zone happening now. You're watching it. Aren't you good? Fantastic. Timelines Talks, we're back. We've got Frank coming on. Frank and Stars will be talking about the new crew that's come out. We probably won't be doing big event rundowns like every super rare crew that came out, or every event we've missed or who's won it over the last 5-6 weeks. We've not been doing it. So yeah, but we'll be back. We'll be talking about, you know, all this new mega crew, who's good crew, who's worth getting, who's not worth getting, which is the stuff you want to know, mostly about the golds. And we'll be talking about, hopefully, about the 8.2 update. Maybe we'll know more about it. Oh, and show title voting will be back, so come get your funniest puns up to figure out what we're going to call this one. I've heard some really good ones already, and I've forgotten them all. There was some good. There's some good ones from Garrick. He's always a classic on that. So yeah, come back for Timelines Talks. We're doing that about once a month, I think. So we're going to be creeping through, and I think once a month is a good cadence. Talking about the good gold. There'll be enough content, campaign crew, and anything fun. Do some Beholder meters, because they're always fun. Who doesn't love a Beholder meter? Death Before Dishonor's coming back. If you hadn't seen it, we played Star Trek Adventures. We've done quite a few of them. Or we did a lot of them sort of early last year. We did most of them. And then around May, June, we kind of stopped because it was really hard to get everyone together and find time to sort of do it, because it's just hard to do it between continents. We've got a couple of people over in America and 2 or 3 people over our way. It's hard to go on it. But finally, I kind of kicked myself in the arse this month, but probably because I've stopped drinking for January. But I finally finally kicked myself up the arse and go, no, let's organise. I'm going to bug people until they say yes. So January 21st, we are doing Death Before Dishonor, our Star Trek Adventures game. Which, if you've not played Star Trek Adventures, it's Dungeons and Dragons, but for Star Trek. So it's a role-playing adventure game. But we're doing the Klingon edition, and we're playing Klingons. If you've not seen the first 2 episodes, they are on YouTube. They have their own little Star Trek Adventures playlist. Go and watch them. They're good fun. They're also on the podcast, so if you drive, you just want some time to listen to it while doing other things, because that's what podcasts are for. They're on the podcast feed as well, so you can go and listen to them. I've been re-listening to them. They're a good laugh. I kind of forgot how funny some of the things were, but I needed to re-listen to it to find out all my plot points, because I'm GMing this one. Sometimes Stars GMs. He does some of the other campaigns. He did the very excellent Captain Proton campaign for our charity show last year, which was, I think he wants to do that again this year for this year's charity show. So we're doing that again, and yeah, I'm looking forward to this. It's going to continue on. Spocky's coming. Spocky as Chakumbra, son of Wa'amba. Yeah, I think his Klingon phrase is, "What gets brought low can be brought back high again," which I think is brilliant. Machiavel, which is Stars' character, the deceitful doctor. We've got Bracchus, House of A. So you need to work out the lines there. He's Shy. That will be Shy playing that very tenacious explosives expert, who's, I think, a lot of the story coming up in this one is going to be about his character. And Skycap will be joining us as Ba'ala, who was in the previous episode as the sort of very Kalar-esque intelligence officer. It's a good lot of fun. I think there was another fun one we did. Me, Stars, and Auto did an improv session, where we had basically no notes, no preparation or anything other than like a loose idea. But we play. I was GMing it, and we just made the whole thing up. And it was about, I think, Auto was Odo, Stars was Quark, or was it the other way around? I forget now. And they had to plan a heist on, or they had to get into trouble on DS9 and do some missions that I told them to do. And it was great fun. I laughed a lot during that one. Great fun. And then coming on 25th, we've got Insurrection 2, Baku Boogaloo, which is basically Hidden Evil. I had to give it something. I always have to give these a fun name, but that just sort of makes the most sense. So yeah, the Trek Time Plays Games, that's that one. I should probably rename that Trek Time Plays Games. I need to work on the logo as well. That was a very quick logo I put together. Again, I'm not an artist. I do what I can with the photo tools available. And then coming up on the 28th, we got our new thing, which I'm very excited about. That I've been having a lot of fun for. I'll show you some layouts I've got with that in a minute as well. Oh, can I do that? I might be able to. I can probably show you some layouts. that I've got with this. Pros and Cons, which is our debate show. It's going to be two contestants. Our first two contestants are Genos Idanian, our Big Book crew, and Skycap are going to go head to head to debate for points against each other in our new debate show. It's going to be, and I'm going to be Q. I'm going to be playing the nefarious Q, who shall be deciding everything from points to objections. And I've kind of got a show structure. Say that again twice. A show structure set out for it that's going to be fun. And if you kind of want an idea of it, go listen to a show called Just a Minute, which is broadcast on Radio 4. I'm sure you can find some on YouTube. They're great fun. It's going to be kind of along that lines with some fun interjections. Big McLarge, huge, who is a game show expert and hopefully a Jeopardy contestant one day, has been giving me a few pointers on how to help me with making it a bit more gamified and making it more entertaining. But it's going to be our first trial run. Might be a bit rough around the edges, but we're going to try it. And then we got the Trek Time Trek show, which I think I want to rename to something else. This is just basically us talking about Star Trek news, Star Trek reviews, things that have been happening in the Star Trek world, because there has been a lot. Excuse me. Always get tickly throat when I talk a lot. Have to drink. Yeah, this could be our Trek Time Trek show, so this will be coming up then. And just be us talking about it. So it'll be February 1st. I'm hopefully going to get February populated soon as well with some things. Probably not as much happening in February because I've got a week off where I'm going to, I'm going to London for a couple of days with my boys. So yeah, that'll be a fun time. But yeah, so I'm really hopeful the Futurist channel. We got invited. Well, I applied and we got invited to the Pod Directive, another podcast, a very good podcast. No, not the Pod Directive. Sorry, Strange New Pod. Gonna get killed for that one. Strange New Pod invited us to their Captain Picard week, which is happening in February. To come and talk with them about our favourites. I think we yet to hear some details about what day we're doing, but it's going to be a good little fun week where we get to liaise with some other Star Trek podcasts, do a bit of networking, which I think is something desperately needed in the podcast world, especially Star Trek podcasts. And it's great that we're now starting to talk to each other because I like being involved in that discussion. And Strange New Pod, great podcast if you never had a chance to go and watch them and Open Pike Night, which I think is a genius name. Definitely are great people, and it's worth listening to. I know there's like 1,000,000,001 podcasts to listen to now, but you know, if you can make time for me, you can make time for them. That's all I can say. And yeah, I think how is everyone in chat? I mean, this is the butter zone. This is the chilled out area where we have a bit of time to ourselves, and you know what's going on with you guys. What else was I going to do today? I tell you what I'm going to show you. This might not work because I don't think I've got the right layer set up. I'm going to show you. Oh, is this going to work? So I'm going to show you the Court of Q. So this is the layer I've got set up for pros and cons. Oh yeah, not quite worked out, but yes. So again, this will be a different feed, so you won't see my background. It'll come up a bit more originally, but this is my Q appearance, and I do need to sort something out there. I need to sort out the camera zoom on that one. But I shall be here talking as Q. No, I won't be doing the full accent. And then if you watch this, this is the fun bit. There's a bit. Yep. Look at that, seamless. There's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really. I love this new plugin I've got. That's just like. Yep. Just buy the costume. I would buy the costume, but it's a lot of money, and I don't have a lot of money at the moment. It's like £65. It's a lot to have. I mean, I do want to. It would make sense because then I can do arm movements. You can't see my arms moving. The other thing I would need is a proper green screen as well, so I can, and maybe the chair as well. I would need the chair. There's a lot to do, but I've actually set up some fun things. So if I go, I'm just going to go black a minute. If I go black, so if you look at this, oh, that didn't work. Why did that not work? Because I'm running off the wrong thing here. 1 second. Pros and cons. Let's go. Oh yes, this button. So if I do this, and then you can see, and then I run the music, we have a nice little intro prepared as I zoom in very dramatically, the same way the Q would in the episode Encounter at Farpoint. And I'm going to explain what the consequences for this episode are and the introduction to our contestants as the music swells and we are introduced to the court of Q. And then the music fades out. And then we go, haha, and introducing. We go down here, and I can actually should ping them out. I can actually ping in and out. Look at that. I can ping in and out my contestants. Isn't that great? Love this program. This is so fun. This is going to be great. Right, let's find my way back over here. But yeah, so we got that coming. That's going to be a great lot of fun. I'm looking forward to seeing the debates. The first one is going to be, should Janeway have killed Tuvix? Or I'm going to rename that because that seems like a leading question already that can lead to a mistrial. Yeah. I was not expecting idle as Q when I opened the stream. Nobody expects idle as Q when you open the stream. Yeah, so that's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to covering from that, and I'm looking forward to Trek Check. I think we've got Code of Honor coming up on Star Trek Trek Check soon, which was I actually, since I've got you guys on chat, I really want to know about your opinions on Code of Honor. Is there anyone out there that genuinely thinks that's a good episode? I would be really intrigued to know if there was anyone that actually enjoyed the whole of that episode. Well, Trekkie, I know you've never seen it because despite you being called Trekkie for life, you've never seen Next Generation. You can hardly be called a Trekkie. You've got to watch the Next Generation. Especially Code of Honor. In fact, make Code of Honor the first Next Generation episode you watch. Actually, no, don't do that. No, don't do that. It's absolutely awful. We'll go through our scores as well. I'm still in Voyager. Why are you doing it the wrong way round? Don't watch Voyager. Well, do watch Voyager, but watch Voyager after the Next Generation. You understand through the Next Generation and Deep Space Nine what the Maquis are and why it's such a big deal that they're on the ship. The Maquis. Another not thought through villain. Star Trek's good at that. Do some good villains. Oh, my Crush series first. Leave me alone. You start it. Yes, Code of Honor is not a good episode. It's very decisive, and you'll hear our full thoughts on that when Star Trek 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 airs on Monday. No, the next Monday, 23rd. I'll have the watch along up for the subs on Monday, so I'll watch along with the episode. And yeah, I think like this is a good format to do for it. Is just watching different series as they roll around. I'm going to put some more votes up for subs. I'm going to do some more votes for everyone else as well, so you guys can decide if you're not, obviously we do appreciate all our subscribers and want to give them some bonuses, but I don't want to leave everyone else out in the lurch. Because you guys are important. You're our viewers, and I'm very thankful to every single one of you that join us on this journey, because this is like a hobby for me to finally get out there and talk about Star Trek with other people that love Star Trek, and you guys are watching that and supporting us. So absolutely fantastic. Whether you just watch us on the replays or come and chat in the Discord, and even it's great. I love you all. So thank you very much for doing that. On a side note, I have been going down a particularly daft rabbit hole right now. This is not what I was expecting. I wasn't expecting to do this, but I got wind one day that Kate Mulgrew had a former life before she was Captain Janeway, and of course she did. She's a good actor and an author and a very, very prolific woman herself. And then I found out that she played Mrs. Columbo. Yes, I am doing this, Shy. I am doing this. We are doing Mrs. Columbo time talks now. Yeah, she played Mrs. Columbo. So I've never really watched Columbo. I know about it through, through internet osmosis, and I think maybe there was some on telly when I was younger, but I never really religiously watched it. I knew he was a kind of private eye detective kind of thing, and it was very famous. Maybe I should watch some Columbo. But no. I decided to watch Mrs. Columbo, and Skycap and Big joined me on this. We were sort of we were messaging each other on Discord about it as we were kind of watching. We weren't watching like a watch along, but we were sort of watching it together at the same time. Which I suppose is a watch along, but you know what I mean. We weren't talking to each other. We were teletexting to each other. And I'm erming again. Stop erming. So we decided to watch the first episode of Kate Columbo, which is on YouTube for free. I'm going to get it for you because I want everyone to suffer this. Not suffer. I'm going to say no. This isn't suffer. Where is it? Mrs. Columbo, episode 1. This isn't suffering. This is, here it is. Endure. Endure's a good word. There you go. Watch that after the stream. Actually, there's something else you need to watch after the stream if it's still going on. Experience. Experience is a good word for this. Because, Kate Mulgrew plays Kate Columbo. wife of Mrs Columbo, who you never see, or wife of Mr Columbo, sorry, and that's not that progressive. And it's such a disjointed episode of television. I mean, one thing I will say, currently experiencing long COVID. Yeah, well, okay. Kate Mulgrew is fantastic in it. She puts a whole, you watch Voyager, you know what Kate's like, she puts all of herself into it, and she does it in her very own acting manner, which is, it's great. She's fine. She's fantastic in it. What she's been given to write is not fantastic. What she's been given to read is not fantastic. Ronnie Auberjonois is in the first episode as well. He plays a French teacher, of all things. So that was nice seeing those two actually talking to each other. But it's such a strange concept because it is a detective show. And I'm going to spoil the episode because there's not really much to spoil, but it's basically her and her daughter living alone because the husband's away somewhere else. They are still married and living together, but he's just somewhere else. And I think that's going to be the recurring bit like it was in Columbo, where you never saw Mrs. Columbo, you never see Mr. Columbo, except you know who Mr. Columbo is. The showrunners actually went out of their way afterwards to say like, oh, no, it was a different Columbo. It was different Mr. Columbo. No, it wasn't the same one. Like I've never seen, like, you read through the Wikipedia and I've never seen such a sharp, drastic turn from like, we meant to do something else. No, this is no longer related to this beloved series because we realised we dropped the ball and this is utterly terrible. The concept is that she's a housewife living alone and wants a job, and so she goes to the newspaper and kind of gets a few words in the newspaper. But on the way, she has an intercom in her house, right? That's supposed to just be talking up to her door. So she presses the buttons, going, "Darling, come down for dinner," blah blah blah. Kid comes downstairs, but this intercom for some reason can listen all around town to everything else, and she unwittingly listens into a murder. Or not a murder, well, yeah, almost a murder, like the planning of a murder, which, what a goddamn plot hole that is for a start. Like, who installs this? Oh, you do get Columbo's dog. Yes, Columbo's dog is in the first episode. I assume that's the same dog, because he's there, and it's a bit of a joke point. So she ends up kind of investigating this thing by just randomly, like, she's not a police officer anyway. She's just a housewife. I say just housewife. I mean that in loving terms. She is a housewife with a part-time job in the local newspaper. Getting stories about vets and things like that. But she heads up like, on one scene she'll be breaking and entering and just snooping about and for no real reason, or going and pestering people and getting herself involved with shady characters she really shouldn't. And then you just get these random switches to where she's doing the washing, or she's doing some ironing, and then the phone rings and she's having an entertaining chat with the leader of the newspaper, the head of the newspaper. And then she's putting a chicken in a microwave, which is a crime. You actually watch her commit a crime by taking a whole chicken, stuffed, putting it in a microwave and turning it on. And I know this is 1978 and microwaves are the whole new fashion, but you never see her take it out. So all I can think is that chicken is still in that microwave for this whole entire time. So yeah, there's even scenes where she goes to the vets with the dog with the vets. Goes to the vets with the dog, and they have it's like a kind of happy. So what's the show with the Fonz? Happy Days, like a Happy Days scene, sitting there having a chat, a couple of jokes. You expect a laugh track in the background, and then all of a sudden it shifts to someone being pushed off a cliff. It's so disjointed, it's bizarre. Like, there's a couple of times where she's saying night to a kid and then goes out to solve the murder. Like, well, hadn't she left the kid alone on her own? What are you doing, Kate? Jesus Christ, you're a menace. And you realise the actual villain of this whole piece isn't the two people conspiring to murder someone's wife. It's Kate. It's Kate Columbo is clearly the villain of the whole piece. It's ridiculous. And it's so hilariously entertaining. I can't stop watching it. It's brilliant. It's so bad, it's good. I can't wait for episode 2. But at the end of it, like by the end of the episode, like she breaks and enters into this house where the woman gets killed, lures the murderer there, and then sets him and then blows him up on the gas stove. She pretty much ends the episode by killing a man. The last scene you see of her, well, not the last scene, but one of the final scenes in that episode, are her looking at this burning body, heart pounding because she's just narrowly escaped death and killed a guy, hard cut. It's her and her daughter dancing, tap dancing on stage, and she goes, I think I'm a detective now. What the fuck? And then it just ends. There's no resolution. She doesn't get arrested for murder and breaking and entering. The cops don't even have a scene with her at the end to kind of go like, what happened here? It's like, well, I think I got away with it. You know, it's like, poof, it's really bad. And it's so hilariously entertaining. I want to watch episode 2, and I think we're going to do a watch along together because it's absolutely fantastically terrible. It is one of those things, it's so bad, it's good. Like, there are so bad it's bad. This is so bad it's good because it's entertaining and you're laughing the whole way. I cannot wait for episode 2. There were 2 seasons of this. There are 2 seasons of Mrs Columbo, and it got retooled so hard by the network executives. I think it got retooled 4 times while it was running, because I think it turned from Mrs Columbo to Case Columbo to Katie Loves a Mystery, or Kate Loves a Mystery. They really tried to distance themselves from the Columbo name in a period of like 2 seasons. It's ridiculous, but it's there, and it stars Kate Mulgrew, and I cannot wait to watch the rest. Something else I want to watch, I'm now trying to download, I'm trying to find decent copies of. I found a download, it's a series called Spencer for Hire, and it features Avery Brooks with the goatee and everything, and he's also as a character called Hawk. He also has a spin-off series called Hawk for Hire. Oh no, Hawk. A Man Called Hawk is what it's called. And it's very Avery Brooks led. And I feel, I've seen some clips of it, and he's a very kind of sassy cop gangster kind of Avery Brooks character. And you say, ooh, Cisco's awesome. Cisco's badass. And yeah, it's Avery Brooks. And I'm kind of hoping that's semi-decent, or at least good enough to be bad, because I would love to see... Spencer for Hire. Mark Wahlberg is in a loose movie. I saw Mark Wahlberg had done. I was investigating all of this, and I saw there was like a sequel series. But yeah, I think I'm going to investigate that. I went down the rabbit hole of just seeing if there was anyone else in anything like that, like someone before TNG had been any sort of like full series. I know like Brent Spiner was in Night Court a few times, but I was kind of hoping to try and see if anyone had been in a full series or something, and try and find those. Scott Bakula, after Quantum Leap, was in I think it was only like 1 series of it, 1 season of Mr. and Mrs. Smith, a remake, which sounds freaking awful because obviously Mr. and Mrs. Smith was the classic show from back in the day, and the remake was Scott Bakula as Mr. Smith before Brad Pitt took his role. Maybe, who knows. Kill Up, you never got into DS9. Okay, the best way to get into DS9, if you've never watched it, right? Okay, so and Odo's and Benson. Oh yeah, Benson's cool. Kate Mulgrew and Nana Visitor are in a soap series. I forget what it's called as well. Something quite a lot of series, and I forget the name of it now. It's on IMDb, but there's like 2,000 episodes of that, so there's no way I'm downloading that. No way I'm finding that. If you've never got into DS9, if you've never watched it, okay, season 1, 2 are quite slow. Okay, Orange. I was thinking more classic shows before they got into Star Trek. So Kate Mulgrew was Mrs. Columbo before Star Trek, and like Scott Bakula was obviously in Quantum Leap, and Patrick Stewart was in Dune and some other things. It's just trying to find the things before they made the big Trek leap. I think afterwards everyone could sort of trace the lineage. Yeah, Orange is the New Black was definitely Kate Mulgrew's other magnum opus, but yeah. But yeah, if you want to, no, sorry, I never, no, you're bad, Kill Up. I never really explained what I was doing, what rabbit hole I was going down. This is my thing. Best way to get DS9, like DS9 series 1 and 2 are a bit slower and a bit more centralized. I would say it's best to start at the last episode of season 2, the Jem'Hadar, and go straight into season 3 and go on from there, because after that it's just a wild Dominion ride, and then you can kind of go back and watch season 1 and 2 and get that bit of appreciation for what they were doing there. I think season 1 and 2 are fine. They are definitely drier episodes, or a bit more disjointed, but once the actors get a feel for the characters, you get Cisco being a bit more less wooden. I feel he's a bit more, well, apart from the word salad episode, you definitely get him. You get that more interpersonal relationships with him and Jake. The show starts to feel a bit more like a family in the way that TNG does. And there's just the Dominion War arc in DS9 is utterly brilliant. It is like one of the finest moments in Star Trek television. Like season 6 of DS9 is up there, top tier in my head. Like, it's brilliant. And then definitely when Worf joins in season 4. It's just peak television. Like it's peak Trek. It's some of the best. So if you haven't gone to DS9, get into DS9. It's great. If that is your one thing on your Star Trek list you haven't watched, which I'm sure TAS is on there, and you should also watch TAS. Yeah, definitely go and do that. From Remo Williams. I don't think I've heard of that. Let me IMDb that quickly since I'm here. Remo Williams. What is that? I'm interested in things like this. Never watched Taz. Watch Taz. Taz is, if you like the original series, watch Taz. You will enjoy it. Like, get over the, once you get over the disjointed art style and the music that repeats so much, and the fact that it is, an animated series, it is actually really good. Oh yeah, K. Mulgrew was indeed in Remo Williams. Never even heard of this. An officially dead cop is trained to become an extraordinary, unique assassin in service of the US president. That sounds awesome. Okay, I might have to add that to my list. Remo Williams, unarmed and dangerous. Hell yeah, we're watching that. I was thinking as well, now we're doing Star Trek, Trek. I might start doing Star Trek, not Trek. That could be fun. And we watch things that Star Trek actors have been involved in. That could be a lot of fun. Definitely. Yeah, no, Taz is worth a watch. There's some very good classic Star Trek episodes. Only except Remo Williams has perhaps the only acceptable instant of yellow face. I'll be intrigued at how that's acceptable. Leverage. Yeah, I've heard Leverage has got Jonathan Frakes and Will Wheaton's been in it. Will Wheaton's been in loads of stuff. Yeah, Remo Williams. I'm going to have to add that to my list. If you know of any like legacy stuff, like legacy Star Trek stuff, definitely finish your rewatch on TV. Yeah, definitely do. I would say, I'm hard pressed to say that you should watch it all the way through from 1 to 7. You get a bit more backstory in the Bajorans. Like, The Emissary is a great pilot, but it depends on how committed you are to get past. I mean, you've been watching TNG. If you've been watching TNG from season 1, yeah, you can get through some of the bad episodes and move on. But I would definitely say with DS9, it is 100% worth sticking through and watching it all the way through. Kivas Fajo. He was in Stargate as well. I did a rewatch of Stargate fairly recently as well, and that's fantastic. If you know watch Stargate. They're really good. Like, Cross the Divide. You do your best. Like I always say to people, like everyone should watch at least all of Star Trek. I'm not going to say you're not a proper Star Trek fan until you watched everything. No, I'm not going to say that. I'm saying you'll be a more enriched Star Trek fan if you watch everything. Definitely. Like, I think even the bad Star Trek episodes are worth watching. Like, I found, especially watch it with someone else, as we discovered with The Naked Now on Star Trek, Trek. You watch it with someone else, and it's absolutely fantastic. First big, with your Marvel Snap playing, you should do Will Wheaton's first Big Bang appearance. Oh dear. Yeah, I think like I was expecting like Star Trek Prodigy to be just a kid show, and I'll kind of watch it in the background. But I got hooked on it, and we were lucky. Like Picard, I would rewatch Star Trek Picard at some point. It wouldn't be top of there, but I would rewatch it if I knew there was a Star Trek series and a series coming out that I actively know I'm going to dislike, which I can't think of anything like that would be, but because I'm pretty easy to please. If the SETI Alpha 5 series had actually decided to come out, I'd be very off of that, because I don't think it would be done justice to Ricardo Montalban. I would say that would be a series I'd kind of go, I don't know if I really want to watch that, and I don't think it serves anything to Star Trek. I would still watch it because, I'm a canon whore and I need to do that. No one else to watch Star Trek with. You always have Star Trek to watch with someone. You can watch it with us. Prodigy is really good. Prodigy. I'll loop back round to the start of the show. Prodigy is absolutely excellent. I'm gonna wrap things up now. Thank you guys for sitting and listening to me jabber for an hour and 20 minutes, or for an hour and 10. Thank you for this. It's been good to sort of get off my chest about some of the things we're doing with the channel. I say get off my chest like it's a bad thing. No, just to explain what we're doing, having the fun we're going to have. You're going to watch all of Mrs Columbo, but you won't watch a Nicholas Mayer's SETI Alpha 5 series. Well, no, I said I would watch it. I just wouldn't be happy about watching it. However, I'm very happy to watch Mrs Columbo. I think I'd be very cautious. I mean, yeah, I know, you know what? A podcast makes more sense for the SETI Alpha 5 series. I think, I don't know, when you start to apply things in a visual medium, it runs the risk of tarnishing the brand more than it does to enhance it. I think in SETI Alpha 5, I don't know what it adds to the franchise as a whole. If they were doing the rise and fall of Khan Noonien Singh, which is like there was some prequel books written about how he came to power, and if they did that and canonized it, or explained, you know, Khan's rise to power on Earth, you know, the origination of the augments and how they came to be, because that is definitively one of the splits in Star Trek, you know, from reality, is like, you know, basically all of Earth turned upside down when the augments arrived, and then World War III, and then the Federation was born from it. You know, that's sort of the big crux of how Star Trek differs from reality. So yeah, doing that as a series interests me a lot more than Khan being marooned on SETI Alpha 5, and then, oh shit, some planet blew up and now it's a desert. Unless they're planning to do something on the lines of getting inside the mind of Khan and going down there. But again, I feel like that is a risk of hurting the character more than enhancing it. It's a shadow war. It happened. Well, yeah, you could say that. I mean, if Voyager's Future Imperfect... No, is it Future Imperfect? No. What was the Future's Past? The Braxton episode, where they go back to the 90s and Rain Robinson likes him in a howdy-doody sort of way. Oh. Anyway. Before Shy decides to just never talk to me again after insulting his honoured one, I'm going to go and play... I'm going to go Galaxy like I've never Galaxied before in Star Trek Timelines, because I've got some making up to do. And I'm probably going to go watch some Spencer for Hire. Why not? Because I love Avery Brooks. What a good man. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We'll be back on Wednesday with Timelines Talks. Look out for the show title submission thread coming in the Discord. If you've not watched... it's there. Space of Skirmish and have to get the ship off Galaxy. Eek. Yeah. Guys, it shouldn't be too hard. I'm 51st. Fantastic. Thank you for the rank update. I was about to go far. I'm going to go spam some more because I want to maintain top 100. That's me. Well, how about a very special outro just for you guys, just to really, you know, put home my love of all things Kate Columbo. Let's move to our see you guys Wednesday, and thank you for watching. See you later.
The handle's Kate Columbo. That's a big 10-4.